Welcome back to Cozy Corners, a place where we turn your house into a home. Step into a world of home decor ideas, interior design inspirations, landscaping guide, and home design tips. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our journey into a world of charm and sophistication. When ceiling height changes how luxurious a small room feels. Sometimes, luxury isn't about more space. It's about how softly a room lets you breathe upward. When the ceiling feels just a little higher, light floats differently, air feels calmer, and even a modest home begins to feel like a retreat made with grace. It's in those few extra inches of openness where simplicity finds its dignity, and small living starts to feel beautifully grand. When you walk into a small living room, the first thing your eyes catch is the ceiling line. It silently decides whether the room feels airy or cramped. Raising that feeling of height isn't always about literally lifting the structure. It's about guiding the eye upward. Designers often use tall curtains that kiss the ceiling, vertical artwork, or slender floor lamps to draw that line of sight. The brain translates this upward expansion as freedom. You start breathing easier. That's how psychological spaciousness works. We link verticality with possibility. The design principle: use vertical emphasis to stretch visual boundaries. In small bedrooms, ceiling height quietly controls how your body relaxes. Low ceilings can feel cocoon-like, but if they drop too close, your mind senses compression, not comfort. Slightly higher ceilings, or even illusions of height through paint gradients or uplighting, make the air above the bed feel lighter. It's that subtle cue that tells your nervous system, you have space to rest. When your eyes aren't trapped by low corners, your thoughts slow down too. The lesson here is simple. Give visual room for rest by expanding the vertical atmosphere. Luxury in a small kitchen isn't about fancy finishes. It's about the breathing space between your head and the ceiling line. When cabinets slam right into the ceiling, the eye stops short. But if you add a few inches of display gap or use a lighter color above, it unlocks visual height. Even a reflective backsplash can trick the mind into thinking the ceiling floats higher than it is. The more the room breathes, the more graceful your routine feels. That's spatial psychology at work. The design principle: create optical air to elevate everyday ritual. Dining rooms in small homes often sit at the heart of activity, and ceiling height can completely shift their tone. A slightly elevated ceiling, or even a visual lift through pendant lighting, turns mealtime into a moment rather than a routine. We subconsciously associate height with significance: grand halls, cathedrals, celebrations. So when your small dining space gestures upward, it borrows that sense of ceremony. You don't just eat, you gather. It's not the square footage that makes it elegant, it's the psychological lift above the table. The principle: use vertical rhythm to turn daily habits into rituals. bathrooms reveal how the smallest space can play mind games. A low ceiling exaggerates confinement, while one that feels raised, even by illusion, brings calm. Try letting your tiles climb all the way up or use a single color tone from floor to ceiling. The continuity gives the impression that surfaces blend upward, not stop abruptly. Your mind stops measuring the limits, and that's when small stops mattering. This perceptual trick softens the edges of daily routines. The core principle here: eliminate horizontal breaks to extend vertical perception. Lighting defines depth more than architecture does. In a small room with an ordinary ceiling, a heavy chandelier can crush the sense of height instantly, while a sleek uplighting design or wall sconces can make that same ceiling feel miles away. It's not light quantity, it's direction. Our eyes follow brightness, and brightness draws emotion. When the glow travels upward, it stretches both mood and dimension. Suddenly, you're not under a lid, you're under atmosphere. So remember this: bounce light upward to emotionally lift the ceiling. Entryways are tiny but emotional. They set the tone before you even step in. When the ceiling feels low, the welcome feels rushed. Stretch it visually with tall mirrors, vertical moldings, or even a narrow pendant that points upward. These gestures trick your brain into thinking, "This house breathes." The shift is instant. What felt tight now feels intentional. You absorb that vertical signal and interpret it as elegance. Never underestimate the first few seconds of spatial psychology. The guiding principle: design upward movement to create a sense of arrival. In a small workspace, your eyes and thoughts are constantly negotiating space. A low ceiling keeps your focus downward, amplifying fatigue. A higher or upward illusion ceiling does the opposite. It encourages mental lift. Think of slanted lines, high shelves, or even paint that fades lighter near the top. All these cues tell your mind that there's room to think. Creativity follows vertical space. The trick isn't physical volume, it's perceptual headroom. The principle works every time. Align vertical openness with cognitive freedom. Hallways often suffer most from low ceilings because they compress you while you move. But by softly washing light across the upper wall or painting the ceiling a shade lighter, you create a corridor that feels taller than it measures. Movement then feels smoother, almost gallery-like. You're no longer walking through a tunnel. You're floating through continuity. Spatial psychology says we judge comfort not by distance but by proportion. The takeaway: blend ceiling and wall tone to visually dissolve confinement. If you found delight in this video, please press that thumbs up. Until we meet again, keep sprinkling joy in your spaces, and remember, we're just a click away. Drop a comment down below. Tell us what other architectural marvels should we check out. Stay creative and happy decorating.